I've just realized that I've had myself on mute. So there you go. I said all these great words and none of you probably heard me. Thank you for joining me today, everyone, tonight, wherever you are across the globe. I'm a little bit off the planet at the moment. It's been a busy day, and here we are. We are live. We are 100% official and active and ready to launch this book. Having said that, I have some very exciting news, and I was kind of hoping that Mum and Dad would be online. So let's hope that they're over there in Western Australia, kicking back, because I know they've been following me with great interest. And my mother has been the greatest salesperson you could ever possibly hope for in Western Australia. Here's the book, everyone. Here we are. Get back here into the camera. Hey, Emma, Jackie, Brenda, thanks so much for joining me. It's great to have you online. I have some news. I have some very exciting news, and I'm going to have a little bit more specific in a moment, but I have just gone #1 in 5 categories already, and I'm pretty pumped about that. It's pretty exciting. One of the categories, and I'm just looking over here because I need to read it. One of the categories is #1 in spiritual self-help, above Jay Shetty, Eckhart Tolle, and Brené Brown. So happy about that. That is very, very, very cool to be ahead of those big names. Also #1 in pets and animal care. So we're still working on it. We still have a lot of time to go because we have just arrived here, and this is pretty exciting. So welcome. Thank you for all of your support, everybody that's out there that's put up with me talking about my book. I would love for you to buy it, because this is the whole point of the launch, is to celebrate with you, to celebrate with me, to talk a little bit about the book. I have a special guest coming up in about 20 minutes, and she is going to be reading a story from the book, which is pretty exciting as well. I'd love for you to hear that. As you can see, I've got some QR codes on the screen. I've got Australia and the US. And one of the things that I have found out is I can't edit. I can't edit this post to put all the links in there. I have links for all countries, but Australia, US at the moment are probably my biggest clients. So I thought I'd put those ones up there, even though the US is actually asleep at the moment. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Emma Eagles. Hi, Emma. Jackie's got her copy. Kirsten Harder. Thank you, everyone. Karen, sister-in-law Karen, my cousin Kylie. Very exciting to see all of you online with me tonight. So awesome. Where was I? Like I said, I'm a little bit off the planet right now, and I'm just okay, here we go. We are #1 in spiritual self-help, #1 in animal care and pets, #1 in animal care and pet essays, #1 pet and animal care in the paperback, #1 pet and animal care essays also in paperback. So it's pretty exciting. Jackie Grant has just put the link for the Amazon link for me in the comments. So I know I'm crossing platforms over YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So I'm not too sure. Anyway, thank you, Jackie. That is the Amazon link. If you can't scan, you can type in animals speak. You've got the cover here, so you can actually see what the cover looks like, and that book will pop up for you. So hopefully that all makes sense. So excellent. Facebook. Let me just see if I can do something here. Just give me 1 second, my friends. Let me just drop in. I'm going to drop in the comments on the Facebook pages. Australia, US, Canada, and UK. So I'm in the comments. So if you are ready to rock and roll and go and buy this ebook for me, or the whatever the other one is, the paperback, that is good. Just get my words out of my mouth. That is awesome. Rob and Caddy, my oldest primary school friend from the farm. Hello. Yeah, not bad for a girl from Ballajoo. Yeah, that's true. Thank you. The paperback is currently number 4 in pet and animal care and number 5 in alternative healing. So very cool. We still have some information coming through. So this is my amazing book guru, Dave Thompson, that is just feeding me back some information while we're live here. Inspirational book writers. That's who you want to be with if you want to write a book, my friends. I cannot rave about these guys enough. It's simply amazing, the support, the efficiency, even doing this, just letting me know what's happening and what's going on. So thanks to Dave and Davina and Rachel and Sarah and all of the people that are behind the scenes doing their work. Excellent. Right. So I don't even know what I'm talking about. I think I've just had an in-person launch, and we had about 32 or 3 people come to the in-person launch, and it was absolutely fabulous. We had coffee and cupcakes, and we bought books, and we chatted, and we took photos, and it was an amazing way to spend the afternoon and then race home and get some emails out and start here. So it's all very exciting, but my brain is fried. Let me tell you, it's been such a huge week this week. My books didn't turn up for the book launch, but actually that probably worked out okay too, because I'm not too sure that we had enough time to be book signing, but we sold some, so that's also good. The book, what is this book about? Go and buy it, because everybody needs it. Animals Speak. What animals want you to know? 10 short stories. The thing that I really love is stories. That's how I best learn. Of course, we all learn different ways, but I love a story. And there are so many animal communication books out there, how to be an animal communicator, people's bios on animal communication and all that sort of thing. And it's really great. But I didn't need to do another one of those. I needed to do something a little bit different, because what I've found over the years and the thousands of clients that I've had is that we don't understand our animals in a way that they need us to, from their perspective, how they feel physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, how they feel, and then what they want us to do to treat them. We work based on what we know, which may or may not be very much, what a vet says, or what our observation says around what we are seeing, and guessing then the best option to move forward. So what I found over the many years is that what we think is not always what is. And so I've written this book with the idea that we can learn from the animal's perspective, because they have so much wisdom to share with us. They have so much wisdom, and we just have to pay attention to them. There are so many solutions to the problems out there, so many solutions that we don't know about. There's many solutions that we still don't know about, but we will learn more and more about, and we'll hear more about. But if you know that there is so many different things that we can do, you will then think, okay, well, if there's so many different things we can do and I haven't found that thing yet, I can find something. And I would never live without a vet. Yes, my choice is a holistic vet, because we need to treat the mind, the body, and the spirit of an animal, not just the physical. We need to treat all aspects of the animal. So I will never live without a vet. They are my go-to for many, many different things and reasons. But we need to know straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. So that's where this comes in. That's where I come in, because I get to communicate with animals. I get to hear from them firsthand exactly how they're feeling, what they need, what their solution is. Why is your horse misbehaving? I don't know. it's biting me. They're trying to kick me off. They're balking at jumps. They're being obnoxious. Are they really? Are they being obnoxious? Yes, they're being obnoxious. What else have you noticed? No, nothing much. Okay, so we have a little chat to the horse, and the horse has got severe back pain, maybe some nerve impingement, maybe some areas of realignment that needs to be reestablished. What do we do then? Wow, Mr. Horse, what would you like to be done? How can we help you? Okay, I need a chiropractor. Right, let's get a chiropractor. I need a farrier. I need a new saddle fit. I need this, I need that, I need some dental work done. So whatever it is, we can think outside the square because we actually have straight from the horse's mouth where they feel pain, what they're feeling, and what they actually see themselves because they're wise and they know better than us. What they see is the best possible solution to their health concern. So, my friends, we need to have a bit of a think about where we're currently at with our animal management. How do we currently care for our animals? How do we currently see the solutions for our animals? Is it one-dimensional? Is it vet and that's it? Because we need to look at nutrition. Nutrition is a huge problem. Emotional health, fear, anxiety, aggression, all of these things. Where has that come from? What is the root cause of this problem? Let's not medicate it. What is the root cause of this problem? Because when we can get the root cause, then we've got a better idea of how we're dealing with these problems. So animal communication, I'm a medical intuitive, I'm an animal energy healer, I'm an intuitive tracker. So with this work that I do, I can communicate with an animal and ask them all of these questions, and then I get to hear their answers. Yeah, super important, Emma, really is. And that's the thing, you want to be able to hear their answers. So there's two things that I'm really wanting to do in this lifetime is to communicate with the animals, educate people on their wisdom and on ways that we can heal them and we can help them outside of just kind of a little bit of mainstream, let's do this for that problem. And maybe it's medication. Medication we may need in some instances as well. I'm not bagging medication. I just think there's a whole lot of other things that we can do before sometimes we might hit that sticky point. Yeah. Sorry, just reading some comments here. Thanks, guys. Super to have you all here. I just want to thank you all again for jumping on and supporting. Very excited about that. And don't forget to buy. Here's your over there. What side are we on? The QR codes. You just scan it. It'll take you straight to the Amazon link for the Kindle or for the paperback, whichever you choose. So jump on there. Buy. Don't forget to share with all of your friends because it's important too for everybody to actually have this information and read it. So at the back of this book, the animals wanted to have in here a list of things that they wanted you to know about, that you needed to know about. And so I have at the back 33 things that your animals need you to know. I started with about 50 and I was just going and I thought this is a whole book in itself. So I had to pull it back and I got told by the animals it's going to be 33 and these are the things that you're going to talk about in there. And you know, it may be quite a random list because it is a random list and also because I don't actually see everything all of the time. But they want to remind you of things that you probably already know. And that's about, you know, animals traveling in vehicles, anxiety, one of the biggest problems. It is my biggest problem that I see. Over 70% of dogs have anxiety, and that is, in my opinion, unacceptable. That is huge. There's so many different things that you can do for anxiety. I just want to show you this. I also put in there some signs because sometimes we don't know when our animals are anxious. But there are the signs and also some suggestions here. Look at that list. There are so many things that you can do. Emotional freedom technique. Music, pet acoustics, Lisa Spector, who specifically composed music for animals and anxiety. Tellington Tea Touch, energy healing, shamanic healing, Reiki for animals, emotion code, homeopathy, flower essences, nutrition, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, crystals, Jin Shin Jitsu, dog training, animal CBD oil. There's just so many things. The list is long. And it may be that you need a few of these things working at the same time. If you have an animal with high-end anxiety, you may need medication to start with and bring some of these more holistic methods in to work with as well. So, there's so many things there, possible reasons behind the anxiety, my thoughts around anxiety. We've got things like mirroring behaviors. This happens all the time as well. You've all heard of the anxious dog, anxious parent kind of thing. This is a very common problem. Sometimes we need to have a look at their behavior and then wonder how we're feeling, what we're doing, how we're showing up to the world as well. Purchasing animals, sunburn, vomiting, whisker stress in cats and dogs, naming animals. How do they feel about being named? There's so many animals out there that get named these stupid names because it's kind of funny. But actually, that's quite offensive to them. So we need to be mindful of how we name an animal. All of that kind of thing. Holidaying without your pets, the language that we use, feeding them, excessive barking, depression and sadness, so many things. So I've got 33 things in there that our animals want us to know. And when you read that, it'll be, yeah, I know that, yes, I know that too. But it's a refresher and a reminder. It's like, I know that, but I'm not actually doing anything about it. So that's the next step, is to know it and then do something about it. Oh, yay, Alyssa, thank you. Got your copy? Cool. Feel free to pop in the comments there, people, if you have bought your copy. I'd love to see, and thank you for that. That will be awesome. At the beginning of this book is a little bit about me and why I've written this book. And then I come into the stories. Now, as I mentioned before, the stories are to help us understand from the animal's perspective, and also to understand what they actually need from us and some solutions to some of these problems. So the first story is about a rescue dog that has, thanks, Dave. Awesome. Oh, yeah, Amazon reviews, my friends. That's a good reminder. Thanks, Dave. I would love it if you could write some Amazon reviews. That would be great, great, great. Love that. Thank you. First story is about Norman. Norman is a rescue dog who's been rehomed a number of times and has been mistreated, and he ends up in this particular home. So, anxiety, big problem for Norman. The second story is about a horse that goes on a hunger strike. Now, this might seem a little bit strange, but it's actually very common. And a bigger problem here is, so I'm reading the comments and trying to speak at the same time. Females can do many things at once. I'm struggling with that today. So thanks to everyone that's writing there. I'm just getting you. So we have a problem with this horse who is in pain, and he has a problem with static electricity from his horse blanket. Another huge problem that I see, which is kind of an unusual one, I've also written about this in the back of it. And it is a big problem that I see often with all animals that are not, their bedding, their clothing, their leashes and harnesses, their blankets, anything that is on their body that is not a natural fiber, because it feels like just being stabbed by 1,000 samurai swords and this electrical feeling through their brain. So it's important that we think about those types of things as well. This next story is really just helping us understand how cats operate, because we mostly don't really understand cats. A lot of the clients that I come across, they have cats, they love their cats, but they are expecting certain things, certain behaviors from them, and they're not actually receiving what they expect. So remembering, or just sharing if you don't already know, that cats are over 95% tiger DNA. So they are not going to always be the cute little cuddly lap cats that you're looking for. And while you might pat them a few times, they might then say, well, that's enough of that, and they will bite you or they will scratch you. That's their language for enough now, because I'm hypersensitive. So there's a story there kind of sharing a little bit more on understanding cats and how they work. Animals also, this is the next story is about a dog that is smelling a brain injury on this person. And this is very common too. And you would have all heard of service dogs that work with diabetics and, the assistance dogs. It's the same kind of thing. It's animals can smell your energy field. This is where your disease and your problems sit before they hit the physical body. So if your animal is showing this strange kind of anxiety that's not a true anxiety, it may be them trying to tell you to, hey, have a look at yourself. Just see your physical health. Just see what's going on there. We have a horse, Calendula, who is Calendula is the young animal communicator. Actually, she's talking to a horse who has a problem, and the horse is going to be sold because she's not competing well and she's acting out. And this is one that I was talking about before, where we come into this problem with misbehavior. Animals don't misbehave for the sake of it. I've not met one. There's probably one or two out there. Thank you, Emma. Hi to Jane. Good to see you here. There's probably one or two out there that just a little, pain in the necks. But for the most part, I've never met an animal that misbehaves for the sake of it. They're misbehaving because they need to get a message to you, because there is a fear of some kind or something's going on with their health. So it's worth just checking that out. We have a cat an indoor cat that goes missing. So we have a little chat about missing animals and how you can use your intuition, or you can hire an animal communicator that does this work to actually help find your animals, because we are all intuitive. 100% we are all intuitive. Oh, this is my mum and dad are watching too. And Karen, my sister-in-law, all my Perth peeps, all here. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thanks for getting mum and dad online. So that's Winnie's ticket to freedom. Stop scratching August. Itching animals is a huge problem as well. They're all huge problems. Itchy animals, big problem. Lots of things that we can look at there. And we are talking about a dog that is driving his pet sitter insane, and she's trying to find a solution to his itching and scratching. Then we have Scotty, who has an addiction to kibble and dried food, and he has kidney disease. This is a big problem. I've had this problem with my own cats, and it is something that I have now learnt about. Dried food is just one of the problems for this. So that is a great story to read for any male cat, particularly any cat owners. But male cats have a huge problem with crystals in their urine and kidney problems and kidney cancers and things like that. The second last story is the worst morning of Harley's life. And this is about chemicals and chemical poisoning. And this is a pretty sad state of affairs, this one, because it's something that I see so often. I can't even remember the number of people that have come to me about this. There, in the back of this book, there is a list. Let me find that. There's a list of all of the chemicals that we should have a look at that we probably just don't consider. All those bullet points there, they are all chemicals that we need to think about. And this is for ourselves in our own homes and our neighbours, and also what's going on in our local parks and sporting grounds and things like that we take our dogs to. This can kill your animal. And if you have an overload, there's so many people that I've had really sick dogs, particularly, that have just scraped through, because they not only have a lot of chemicals going on in their own house, but they have neighbours either side that are, spraying Roundup. Absolutely worst thing ever. Roundup and painting houses and doing all those sorts of things. So this is a story about chemical poisoning. Again, it's so you can, and then a part of the resolution to that. The last one is also something that we don't think about too much, is about unresolved grief. Now, we have unresolved grief when we have animals that die suddenly, unexpectedly, when animals go missing and they're never returned. We never see them again. This is a big problem. So this is a story about that, and some of the things that we can do for ourselves to help us resolve unresolved grief or to move through it. So it's a really important one. Death and dying and grief is something that I talk about in the book as well. So I'd love for you all to have a read. I'd love for you to share it with anybody that you have in your friends or family group that have animals in their care. I would love at some point to even get something like this into the school system, because this is where it starts with the kids. Very exciting stuff. So I'm very excited to have this out. I just want to talk statistics for you before we head into our special guest, which is coming up in just a moment. I see her in my waiting room smiling at me, just going, oh my God, do I have to come in there now? I want to share some statistics with you because these are quite frightening and unnecessary. There are over 840 million cats and dogs on the planet. And that statistic came from 2018. So it'll be more now, and they are the registered ones. There'll be more than that even that aren't registered. That is a lot of cats and dogs. That is a lot of cats and dogs that aren't being heard, that aren't being cared for in a way that they need to be cared for. That doesn't account for horses, guinea pigs, snakes, bearded dragons, rabbits, any and all of our animals that we have slightly domesticated. More than 50% of domesticated animals will get cancer. I've had a dog and a cat die of cancer. It is not pretty. It's extremely sad and unavoidable. I know that now. There are so many things I could have done for some of my own pets in the past that I haven't done and I didn't do, but I know better now, and it's all just a part of education. This is my point. Animal educator. Let's teach everyone that there are solutions. There are things that we need to know more, we can do better at. More than 85% of our pets over 4 years old will have dental disease. Isn't that shocking? 85% over 4 years old. They're still babies, sort of, just out of babyhood. Unnecessary, completely unnecessary. And dental disease, that ends up in your major organs when you have dental problems. So that needs to stop. Over 70% of dogs suffer from anxiety, and I spoke about that before. And that's not just dogs, because cats and horses I see with anxiety all the time as well. I see I've got makeup all over my face. Too much laughing this afternoon, no doubt. At 8 weeks, yeah, Kirst, at 8 weeks, exactly. It's not on. These things have to change. We just need to learn what we don't know, because we don't know a lot of things. 80% of dogs will show signs of arthritis by the age of 8. That's not good either. That is definitely not good. Again, we can do something about this way before then. 53% of our furry companions are suffering with silent pain. I have something in the back there about silent pain. I have some resources in there as well in the back of the book. These are not all of the people that I follow or that I learn from, but this is a number of people that I really like that I've put in there. Dr. Edward Bassingthwaite is one of them. There's a whole bunch that talk about species appropriate nutrition. There's people with the the music, pet acoustics, links and things like that, flick to the back of the book and find the resources, because there's some fantastic people that can help you with your problems as they come up. Dr. Edward Bassingthwaite is a holistic vet from Victoria in Australia, and he has really taken on board this silent pain issue and is working with this. And as a vet, he sees this all the time. And silent pain, because animals that are prey animals will not show pain unless they absolutely have to. It'll be, but there are signs. You can see if an animal is in pain. You just need to be observant of that, and you need to know what you're looking for. Thank you, Davina. Thank you for all of your excellence. Amazing, 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 amazing publisher. Yes, animals in pain, silent pain. So, you know, when your dogs, my dog here is 16 and he's really struggling with slippery floors inside and outside the house. So I've got these little toe grips on his toenails that are like little rubber things to help stop this. You know, he walks along and his back legs spread out and his front legs spread out. And this is an injury waiting to happen. But we've also got stairs, and he slips up and down stairs. He'll be halfway up and he'll slide all the way back down to the bottom. Now, I like to have a little bit of body work, chiropractics as maintenance for our animals. And I think that is a really good thing to have in your toolkit, is to find some people that you can use for maintenance for your animals, the same way you would for yourself. But he doesn't show any pain at all, but I know he's in pain. I 100% know he's in pain. So just know, prey animals will not show pain unless it's extreme, or if you're looking for it. So just remember that. Yeah, toe grips, everyone. Dr. Busby, I think, another more holistic vet. They're like little round rubber things, and you just slide them on, cut the nails, cut the hair between the pads, and then put these little toe grips on. It looks like nail polish, but it just helps them grip the floor. Highly recommend. In fact, I think I've got that in my book as well. So for elderly animals, check that out. So lots of things in there. Lots of things in there for you to look up and to, like I said, I don't know everything. And one thing that I found is that I have a certain clientele. So I have a lot of horses with withers, shoulder, back pain. I have a lot of animals, dogs and cats with anxiety. They're probably my two main ones. I have a huge amount of cats with nutrition problems. So a lot of my information has to be based on my experience and what I've seen and what I've done. So it's not everything. As I get older, as I keep working in this field, there'll be more books that has an add-on to the 33 and other stories. So I hope you're all ready. Some of you have bought it already. Thank you. I'm absolutely wrapped with that. And I'm so wrapped. I'm just going to say it again because I'm sure some of you have missed it. Number one in pets and animal care already. Big thumbs up to myself for that. Go me, and go my entire team, because you're all just legends, and my friends and my clients and my family. Number one in spiritual self-help, above Jay Shetty, can't remember his name, Jay Shetty, Eckhart Tolle, and Brené Brown, three huge names that I'm excited about. I was number 5 in alternative healing methods. I'm not sure where I'm at the moment, but this is around Anthony William, the medical medium, who is also someone I've followed for a very long time. And I absolutely love his work, because my medical intuition is very similar to Anthony Williams' medical intuition. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Yes, yay to that. Being in the bestseller list gives me credibility to open more doors, to get and spruik my stuff, to get on television, to get on radio, or whatever it is that I need to do to get this information out there. I'm not going to talk anymore, because I think you're probably all rolling your eyes and thinking, oh my God, when's she going to shut up? But thanks for listening. You're still here, so that's cool. I'm going to hand over to my good friend. I'm just going to bring her into my room just to start with. My good friend, Kelly. my very good friend, Kelly. So I hope, can everyone hear her? Yes, I
Hello.
can hear her.
You can hear me?
So that is good. I can hear you. Now, still number 5 in alternative healing. Yeah, it'll update in a few hours. So I'll probably be number 1 in a few hours. Just powers of positive thinking. Okay. My friend Kelly has got roots in Ireland. And we all know what happens in Ireland. They tell stories, and they are great storytellers. And I'm a terrible storyteller, so I don't actually want to read my own stories out loud. So when Kelly said that she would read a story at my book launch, I've just gone, what an awesome idea. I love that. So I'm going to hand you over to Kelly, because she's going to read you the first story of the book. And it's called Norman Has Anxiety and a Name Change. And I'm very excited for you to hear about this. So I'm just going to mute myself, and I'm going to give Kelly the floor. And let me just find the right screen that I'm looking for here. Not that one. Where are we? Oh, there we are. God. All right. I'm just going to mute myself, everyone. Thanks for joining me. And I'm going to just let Kelly introduce herself, and I'm going to find out how to work this screen in just while I'm doing that.
Hey guys, excuse my croaky throat. I was at the book launch today, and I bought the hard copy, the pre-order for the hard copy, as well as the Kindle version, which is 99 cents for today. So I highly recommend that everybody does that, so we can drive those algorithms up for our very good friend. She has important things to say, and I loved reading this story. I was so invested right from the get-go, so I'm really excited to share this with you. So grab yourselves a cuppa, a glass of water, and off we go. And there I was, lost, scared out of my wits, walking aimlessly down a moonlit dirt road with nowhere to go. Where was I? Nothing was familiar. How did I find myself in this predicament again? It's the 3rd time in 12 months that I've been kicked out of a foster home. Only an hour ago, I'd been helping Red with his new Lego build. The next minute, Mr. Jensen was yelling at me to get in the car. Now! Red's sobbing. He doesn't want me to go. He's finally found a friend. He was a shy boy and didn't make friends easily. They'd moved more times than he cared to remember, but this was apparently going to be a long-term stay. His dad had promised, and to prove he was serious, he contacted the local foster agency and brought me in. I was pretty shy myself, so we had something in common right off the bat. No one seemed to like me much. I don't know why. I was a quiet-natured boy and kept to myself most of the time. Adults are confusing though, aren't they? They want you around, and then they get mad and they want you to get out of my sight. The last home I was in, Desiree, of all the others called her Desiree, so I did too, would chase us all around the house with a hairbrush. Oh, that hurt when she landed that across the back of your head. The kids would be crying all the time there. I'd had enough after a while, so I took off. She was scary. I was happy to put her in my rear vision mirror. The thing is, I genuinely thought she liked me. She was just in a spot of bother with her house payments, and she'd just lost her job. She was nasty, but she was Desiree, the head of our unruly family. And so, after a few days, I went back home. I forgave her, you see. It's easy for me to forgive because I'm always seeing the good in everyone. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think she needed me, and I couldn't abandon her like that. And I was hungry. Man, I was hungry. All I'd eaten was half a burger I'd found in someone's bin up the street. When I walked through the door, she was madder than I'd ever seen her. One look at her pinched, crimson face, and I knew I was in for it. She was yelling at one of the kids when she spots me. And that was it. She went crazy, throwing anything she could lay her hands on. I ducked and I ran, but not before being clipped on the chin by something hard. The pain was so hot, I started seeing stars. My insides were shaking like a leaf. While I'm standing there trying to regain my balance, she walks over to open the door, looks me dead in the eye and says, "Get out of this house and don't you ever step foot inside this door again." I hesitated, thinking she's possibly overreacting. "Now," she booms. I gave her my best big sad eyes, but she wasn't having it. She pushes me out the door with a "get out" and a kick in the butt. And no food, still no food. My stomach was going to start eating itself. It was so hungry. So there I was, walking the neighbourhood, hoping she'd come find me, when a car stops and a voice asks me if I'm lost. That's a stupid question, I think. Of course I'm not lost. I'm waiting for Desiree to come to her senses and get me. I'm a pretty smart guy. Why does everyone think I'm lost? While I'm standing there wondering when they're going to leave, the man gets out and offers me a sandwich. "Oh, yes, sir. Please, may I have that sandwich?" I was reminded of that hollowness in my belly. He gives me the sandwich and tells me, "Get in. I'm taking you home." I clamber in the back seat, ready to go home, but we're heading in the wrong direction. This isn't the way home. I feel sick. This isn't right. Where's he taking me? As we pass street after street, I see an all too familiar sight. My stomach churns. I'm back here again. The joint they stick all the bad ones together. The reprobates no one seems to want. This is the foster joint. It's so busy, and the constant comings and goings and incessant noises are unbearable. My nerves are a jangle. I can hear my innards trembling. I let out a despondent sigh, wondering what was to become of me. How long would it be this time before I got billeted out to my next home? I collapse, exhausted on the bed, and fall asleep with a heaviness in my chest that would sink a ship. It's the first time I've allowed that gnawing feeling I try so hard to push away and hope it isn't really true. But in this moment, I know it is. No one loves me. Tap, 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 tap. There's a noise just outside my periphery, beckoning me to wake up. I crack an eye to see a pencil-thin, pasty-skinned man tapping on the wall, staring down at me. He smiles in what I guess is meant to be a friendly way, but I was miserable, not to mention uneasy and scared. And hey, it's not like he's going to want me. No one else seemed to think I was good enough for them. So I sat there motionless in the corner, tracing his movements with my eyes. Apparently I was wrong. He shakes a handful of papers my way, tells me to come along, and off I go again on my way to my third home. I stared out the window in silence, wondering if this would be my final home. I breathe out wearily. The hope that someone would love me for who I was and let me stay was becoming a remote illusion of an idea. He seemed nice enough. He talked all the way to his house. I didn't understand who or what he was talking about, but I'd learn soon enough. As we pulled into the driveway, I see a face peering out an upstairs window, a face full of sadness. He looked lonely, I thought. The man opens the door and I can feel the change immediately. The weather's gone from warm with a light summer breeze to 50 below zero and frigid. I was instantly anxious, my stomach once again in knots. "Boy," he yells, "get in here." The face in the window appears in front of me, his head hanging, staring at the floor. "Look at me," he speaks frostily at the boy. He lifts his eyes but doesn't move. I watch, realising I'm holding my breath, waiting for what happens next. "Norman, red, Norman. Give Norman some food, then go to your room until I say you can come out." He has a tone of icy hatred. I feel my innards trembling again. Something feels wrong here. The man turns on his heel and stalks off to who knows where, and it's just me and boy, or Red, as we now know. It's awkward and clunky, but we manage to find some quiet ease between us. Man spends his day drinking, yelling at us to stop doing whatever it is we're not doing, and most days we get a good belting as he gets more and more drunk. We are each other's security blanket, spending our time fearful of what might happen next. We're bound to Red's bedroom unless the man needs us to buy him food or booze, then we're allowed out. It's a long walk to the shops, and it feels good to stretch the legs. We got ourselves into some sort of routine, if you could call it that, and then it happened. We were quietly playing. We'd get beaten if we made noise because the man hated sound of any kind. When I knocked over the bookshelf, it hit the ground with a crash. We transformed into instant statues, praying the man was too drunk to hear. Holding our collective breaths, we waited in hope. Our hearts sank as we heard his thundering footsteps boom up the stairs. The door flies open, smashing into the wall, and there he stands with fists clenched and eyes as wild as a bobcat. He glares at me, bellowing that I get in the car. You, he pokes the air at Red. I will deal with you when I get home. My heart is pounding. A hole in my chest as terror slices through my body. I find Red's eyes as I'm dragged out by the scruff of my neck to the car, neither of us knowing what each other's fate would be. I'd lost track of time, and I had no clue where I was. I'd slept on streets many times in the past, so I should have been used to it. But I always felt jumpy and nervous. When you're on the streets, you're always sleeping with one eye open. Click, 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 click. The sound of footsteps on the sidewalk. Every step closer to my secret spot. I'm hiding under a piece of cardboard and thought I'd done a good job of covering myself from sight. But those red, glossy, high-heeled shoes have stopped right in front of me. My heart starts to race again, and I feel panic rising. Be still, I coach myself. Don't move, she won't see you. Hi there, little man. Too late, damn it, she's seen me. She leans down and removes my cardboard fortress. So exposed, I think to myself. She talks softly to me. Her voice sounds like a soft blanket. I catch myself starting to relax and then quickly tense back up, preparing to do a bunk. But this blanket voice, it's doing something weird to my brain. I can't think straight. My body softens, and I think about coming closer. Don't forget she's one of those adults. I regather myself and remember where I am. I can't let that voice trick me. I reverse my butt back closer to the wall behind me. But there's nowhere to go. I'm cornered. My mind races. My eyes dart to escape points. I see the gap. Commit and go for it. But she's quick. She's got me around the neck. I was ticked off and scared in the same breath and tried to bite the hand that was holding me tight. She drags me kicking to her car, and we're on our way. I don't know where, but I'm starting to panic at what's coming. As my breath escalates and gets more and more haggard, she talks to me in a blanket voice, promising everything is going to be okay. Yeah, lady, I've heard that before. They all promise. And a funny thing happens. I hear her breathing get really, really slow and metatromic. And I feel mine doing the same. All the muscles in my body start to melt like warm honey, and my eyes droop. My body's relaxing while my mind fights what I know, that adults are mean and they can't be trusted. My mind is strong, and I can feel my heart rate start to crank up again. My breathing becomes rapid, and everything spins. I start to blank out. The blanket speaking. Come on, little guy, we're home now. Out you get, she says. Let's go eat. You must be starving. Home? I was confused. Home? What's home? Didn't you need to fill out paperwork to go home? I don't have a home. How was this home? So many questions. The lady in the clicking shoes that speaks like a blanket walks me inside. The fire's on. It's the warmest I've felt since the man dropped me off on the side of the road. It's warm and homely, and there's some seriously good smells coming from the kitchen. It reminded me how hungry I was. Meals are few and far between lately. The warm blanket brought me the most delicious meal I've ever eaten in my short life. I could feel myself let my guard down, just a little. But no, you need to stay alert. Norman, you must stay vigilant. I ran and backed myself into a corner. I couldn't trust her. I had to get to safety. Oh, how I hated feeling so sick in my stomach all the time. She spoke softly to me and asked me what my name was. Norman, I said. I don't think she heard me because she told me she was going to call me Stanley. I thought that was weird. I had a name and then she was giving me another one. Adults are not only mean, they are also strange. But I liked her soft voice and I didn't mind Stanley either. So I decided that would be okay. She called herself Mum, so I called her Mum too. Made sense if that was her name. Nights turned into days, days into weeks, weeks into months. And still, here I was with Mum. Every day I waited to hear I'd done something wrong, to be taken for a drive and dropped off to fend for myself again. But it didn't happen. She just loved me. The problem was, I didn't know how to be loved. I didn't trust anyone. I kept waiting to be rejected and abandoned. My heart so wanted to believe that I was with Mum in this homely home forever, but every time she furrowed her brow or opened the door, I just knew I was a goner. I'd found a hideout spot for when she went out, and I'd burrow myself in there to try and help me feel safe and stop shaking until she returned. And then something happened. Mum brought this lady home with her one day, and off we all went to the lounge room. Mum didn't have many friends over, so this was a bit odd. She seemed nice enough, and Mum liked her, so I figured if she did, so would I. She sat on the seat opposite me, but real close. She was way into my space, and I started to panic. I could see her hands come into my face, and I ducked to cover. The problem was she had one of those blanket voices like Mum that made me feel calm and sort of okay, like everything would be all right. She told me she wanted to touch my face, but it wouldn't hurt. She was helping me to feel safer in my body, and I could stop worrying in my guts. I just sort of went along with it. I'm pretty sure I was hypnotized, as I couldn't seem to move. One of her fingers is doing this tapping thing on my face, and she starts saying these really weird things. Even though I, Stanley, feel abandoned and rejected, I love and accept myself, she says. What is this strangeness, I think? Tap, 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 on all different spots on my body. It goes round and round and round. I start to feel relaxed. The permanent grip on my tummy is releasing for the first time since forever. My eyes get heavy and I yawn. So relaxing. I groan in a satisfied sigh and fall deeper into a peace I've never known. She's still tapping, but the words have changed. They don't really make sense, but I'm beyond caring about that now. I'm feeling more and more confident and comfortable. I am confident, courageous, and full of love. I'm a great guy. I know I deserve love. I'm accepted and respected in my house. I'm fearless. I'm a good boy. Sigh. Deeper we go. Oh no. I can even feel my butt relax into a sigh of stenchy whiffs. Sorry, lady. Can't help it. I think without trying to stop it. I don't know what this tappy thing is, but I'm calmer and more relaxed than I've ever been. I don't feel the need to hide. My tummy stopped its relentless, anxious quiver. My hips and hind soften, and my tail comes out from between my legs. For once I feel like I belong somewhere. I am happy. I'm happy for the first time ever. I look over at Mum and feel a desperate urge to thank her for loving and fixing me. I fly off my seat and launch myself at her, wrapping my strong Stanley boy arms around her neck and cover her face with the biggest, sloppiest, full of love licks a good dog could possibly give. Her face is wet, and I don't know if she meant her eyes to leak, but I can tell she's happy too. She puts her hand around my face and kisses me all over. She tells me I'm in my forever home and she loves me. No one's ever told me that they love me before. I send her my biggest feeling of love I can do, and I curl up on her lap for the most full and restful sleeps I've had in my whole 12.2 months of being alive. That's my favourite.
Thank
Had
you,
to try
Kel.
really hard not to cry at the end. Every time I read it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for reading that for me. That is awesome. So that's kind of the stories. And like I mentioned before, anxiety, well, rescue animals and anxiety kind of go hand in hand. But there are things that we can do about that. And that particular technique that was in that book, in that story, is called emotional freedom technique or thought field therapy or simple energy technique. There's a few different versions of it. And it's so simple. It's so simple. And the thing is with these simple techniques is you can learn them yourself. You actually don't need to put my lights back on. You actually don't need to go and do a degree, go and pay someone to do this for you, even though I can do this for you as well. But you can learn this. There are YouTubes, there are books, all of these options available for you to go and learn this very simple technique. And it's simply tapping on acupuncture points that release and clear energy, and it releases that grip that fear and anxiety has on the body. And an animal that feels anxious is just ongoing, never-ending internal quiver, nausea and shaking. And if you can imagine feeling like all of the time, that's how they feel. Yeah. And it's not a very nice feeling. So, Kel, thank you. Thank you so much.
I love the way you've written it so beautifully. It's really easy to hook into understanding what it feels like, because, you know, we're essentially, you know, we're all the same, aren't we? We all have feelings, and you've put it in such a beautiful and eloquent way. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you. I probably wouldn't have been here today without you and your support and encouragement. So big thank you to that.
You would have been fine. You would have been fine without me. You were meant to be doing this.
I wouldn't have been reading a story, that's for sure. But as you mentioned at the beginning, which I kind of forgot about, is that this book, this ebook, is 99 cents only for the launch period. So you've got the QR codes there. I have posted on some pages the actual links for the different. I've got all of the countries. I've just put Australia, US, Canada, and UK up for the moment. But you have all of the. I have all the countries. So if you're not there, just let me know and I'll send it to you. 99 cents. It's nothing. It's not even. Nothing. I don't think you could buy.
You can't even get a cup of coffee for that.
No. And then it will go up. The paperback is launching for this period only, which will only be the next couple of hours, for $14.95, and then that will be going up to $22.95. So jump in now, share it with the entire world. That would be awesome. And thank you. I know some of you have been writing that you've got your copy, that you're sharing it. Thank you. That is so much appreciated. So one of the other things that Kelly mentioned when she read this a while ago too was that, because the point of this story was to kind of get to the end and then hear that we're talking about a dog, well, you're going to know it's an animal because it's a book about animals. But it was written in a way that you didn't know whether this was a person or an animal until you got to that final bit where the tail comes out. And this is the thing, is that our emotions that we experience as humans are the same emotions that we experience as animals, or that they experience. So sometimes put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel? Because that's how they're feeling. That's how anxiety looks to us. That's how anxiety looks to them. That's how aggression looks to us. That's how aggression looks to them.
Yeah.
So it's, all of these stories really translate into the people as well.
Yeah.
So grab your book. Kel, thank you. That's awesome. Yay. And I'm going to finish off now. I think we've been on here long enough. I would love for you to review on Amazon. I would love to hear what you think about the book, how it's helped you. There are links in there to the resources. I would love for more people to learn how to communicate with their animals, so you don't have to come to me when you have that problem and I've got you on a waiting list for 3 weeks because I don't have time, I can't fit you in. But you want to know from your animal right now what's going on with them. You can do it. Everybody is intuitive. You can do this. You just need to relearn it and then sharpen that tool. In the back there, I do have an online animal communication course for beginners. It's a foundation level. That is in there as well, that you can swing over to the links. But first up, buy the book, share it around, and let me know what you think. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for celebrating with me. Thanks for sharing your hour on your Sunday afternoon or evening, wherever you are. That's Saturday even for some of you. And I look forward to hearing more from you over the next couple of days. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Davina. Have a great night, everyone. Rest of the weekend. Bye for now.